Alright, so today it is day 8 of 15 days of foundation. This is where I try out a new foundation every single day for 15 days. Today we're trying out a friggin' $85 foundation. $85. I'm pretty sure that's the most expensive foundation I've ever bought besides the... what brand was that? The powder foundation that I tested. I'll link that one in the eye over here if you missed that. I was scrolling on Sephora's new arrivals, saw this foundation. This is the Tom Ford Waterproof Foundation and Concealer, and got really curious. You get 1 fluid ounce of product in here. There was nothing else in the box. No tickets to the Ellen show. Cars awaiting me, rainbows, burritos, just foundation for $85. So this only comes in 12 shades and I have the lightest shade 1.5 cream. Since it starts at 1.5, I'm guessing they're gonna expand the shade range to go lower and hopefully higher. It goes up to 10.0 chestnut. So not a huge shade range to start out, but this is a new foundation. It says it's a full coverage waterproof foundation that also functions as an effective concealer to hide noticeable imperfections. Comfortable, breathable foundation with a naturally radiant finish. It says it's supposed to cover blemishes on the skin, and it says it's good for all skin types. So there's only 3 reviews on Sephora so far, so this thing is brand spanking new. I've got to say, the packaging is a little disappointing to me for $85. I don't know. I know it's just a squeeze tube and there's not a whole lot you can do with that, but it just seems very basic. Even like the cap and stuff doesn't feel particularly good quality. It just kind of feels like cheap plastic. I found great products, drugstore and high-end. If something is $85 for me, it really has to be out of this world, because I do have foundations under $15 that are freaking amazing. This is gonna have to do some mind blowing. I'm gonna insert swatches right here so you can see how the shade 1.5 cream compares to some of the other foundations I own. Alright, so swatch time right here is the Tom Ford foundation and concealer in the shade 1.5 cream. This has already oxidized about 2 shades since I swatched it. When I first put it on, it was very close to the Urban Decay Naked Foundation in 0.5. Next over is Dermacol 208. Again, this one's Urban Decay Naked 0.5. Josie Maran Vibrancy Foundation in RG5. And Pure Cosmetics Baradol Foundation in Porcelain. So if you've missed any of days 1 through 7, those are linked down below in a playlist. If you've been enjoying 15 days of foundation, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Let's put this on my face if you want to see what I think of the Tom Ford Waterproof Foundation and Concealer. If it's worth $85, you're in the right place. Just keep watching. Since it says this is a foundation and concealer, I'm thinking that the consistency of this is going to be a little bit on the thicker side, so I'm probably going to use my Sigma F82. And then on the other side of my face, I'll use my damp sponge. Let me clip back the hair. I've already washed, moisturized, and primed. All right, squeeze this thing out. Whoa, it's actually pretty liquidy. I was not expecting that. I might actually switch brushes then. I think I'm going to go in with Sigma F80 instead for the brush side. With the sponge on this side, it's not actually covering all of my acne. You can definitely still see it coming through, but it does look like nice high medium coverage right now. Definitely not like Dermacol total blockout kind of coverage. Ever since my dad says blockout referring to foundation in the videos that we've done, I started saying it. It looks like a pretty matte finish. I'm gonna use the same amount, try the other side with a brush. I actually used a decent amount of product. I think you guys saw how much I had on there, but about a dime size. Definitely better coverage with the brush. I would call that full coverage. It's still not Dermacol kind of coverage, but it is covering a lot more on this side with the brush. I'm just gonna go over the other side a little bit to see if I can build this up. Okay, so that built up beautifully. I feel like I got a little bit better coverage and it doesn't look heavy at all. It's sitting really nicely on my skin right now. My face looks pretty matte. I mean, my forehead, I'm getting like a little bit more of a glow, but I wouldn't really call this a radiant finish. Since this is supposed to be a concealer too, I'm gonna take my finger and see if I can use this as like a spot concealer to cover up just the acne spots that are still showing. I feel like that took away some of the coverage. Yeah, that doesn't do a whole lot as a concealer. If you have like heavy duty things to cover, it's not really covering them. I wouldn't say it's like the most flattering as far as texture, but it also doesn't look bad. Something about this that I'm not totally loving. I think I would go through this pretty quickly to get the kind of coverage that they say it is. And I used pretty much 2 layers. The shade is a little bit off. It looks fine, but you can definitely see the line on my neck right here. Okay, well, I'm gonna apply the rest of my makeup right now. It's 8:55. Let's call the check-in time 9 o'clock since that's about when I'll finish up my face makeup. Not sure if I'm gonna powder this one. I'm kind of thinking I am. I don't know, we'll see. I'm gonna do the rest of my makeup and I'll be right back. All right, so it's now 9:42. I took my sweet time doing my makeup today. We're gonna call check-in time 9 o'clock since that's when I finished up my face makeup. I ended up setting my face with my Laura Geller Balance and Brighten powder in the shade Porcelain. This definitely helped to make the shade look closer to my actual body. Overall, I definitely like how it's looking better with this powder on now. I still wouldn't say I absolutely love how it looks. The foundation on its own, I was trying to think of what it reminded me of, and it's almost like MAC Studio Fix. Like you can just kind of see it. It doesn't look bad, it doesn't look good. You can just kind of see it on your face. It looks kind of like foundation, and it did darken a little bit on its own, so I would say this shade is too dark for me without a powder or something to lighten it. So if you're around my skin tone, 1.5 might be too dark. But with the powder on right now, I think it looks fine. There's nothing majorly like standing out good or bad. On the rest of my face for eyes, I use the Shayla Maybelline City Mini palette, and this thing is really nice. I've tried some of the other City Mini palettes. I think, is that what it's called? Yeah, City Mini. Those ones were like kind of hit or miss. There were some really nice shades and also some not great shades. Every one of the shades I used in this one was really nice. They blended out really easily, pigmented, soft. I really like this. Lashes were Pure Diva. I really like this lip color too today. This is the L'Oreal Infallible Mattes in the shade Tongue Tied. Super pretty. I really like the tone and shade of this. I was gonna use this as a bronzer, but it was like straight up orange, so I use this as a blush kind of. So this is the Milani Glow Baked Bronzer to just kind of deepen up my cheeks a little bit. I went in with the Bare Minerals Contour. Face highlight is Becca Champagne Pop. I'm forgetting something. I think that's everything. The next check-in I do will be natural lighting. I'll see you guys in a few hours. Okay, so right now it's 2:11, so it's been on for about 5 hours. False lashes are goners. I put on my 15 Days of Foundation t-shirt from last season. I've just been doing laundry and cleaning, so I'm not trying to wear like a silk shirt while I do that. But let's talk about the foundation. So it actually looks pretty good. Like I like how it's looking on my forehead. That powder on top, I like the shade of it. There is some major creasing on my upper lip. So like huge lines right here. But 5 hours in, my forehead looks pretty good. I think it looks better actually than when I first put it on. Kind of smoothed out a little bit. Doesn't look quite as textured. I'll see you guys at the end of the night. All right, so it's now 8 o'clock. My phone just died, so you're just gonna have to trust me. My face looks friggin' good right now. There's still a little bit of natural light out right now, so I'm standing right in front of the window, so I think you guys will be able to see. For 11 hours, like it looks pretty damn good. Especially my forehead. I'm gonna zoom you guys in. My forehead looks the same as it did about 5 hours in. So for having this on for 11 hours, that's crazy. I still don't like how it looks around my nose area and upper lip, definitely still creasing and stuff, but overall, it looks really good. Like it's held up really well throughout the day. This one is confusing to me because I love how it held up throughout the day, but I definitely don't like how it looks without the powder I used, and it was too dark without the powder I used. So I think this might be a good mixing one for me because I rarely have my skin hold up this well for this long. This is like a little bit crazy. Is it worth $85 to use as a mixing foundation? I don't know, but again, if I can just use like a third of the amount that I used before and mix it in with another foundation, maybe it would be worth it. I'm pretty impressed with the longevity of this one. What's in my eyeball? I was just looking at trips for like 2 hours. I found this Turkish boat sailing trip I want to go on. How does this relate to something being in my eye? I have no idea. $85 is freaking insane for a foundation, but if my face looks this good by the end of the day, I don't know. That could be worth it. Do you like it? Do you think it's worth $85? So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Day 9 is tomorrow. That's kind of crazy. If you're new here, don't forget to join the Bayrito family and subscribe. Love you guys. Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow. Bye.